Hi, it's Louise from WelshBunnies.com here with my fourth Project Life video. Hope you like it. Hello, this is my fourth Project Life video and I happen to be doing week 4 of 2015, which makes me very happy because it means I'm almost up to date with 2015. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing these videos, is it gives me a sort of schedule to get my Project Life done, or some time in the week where I've cornered it off for doing Project Life. Otherwise, with 2 little ones and 100 other things to do, it's hard to find time. So I've printed out my photographs for this week. So I've got my 6x4s and my 3x4s all printed off. And then I placed an order this week for some stickles in some other colours. These were the other colours I bought because I only had the teal, and I really have been using the teal stickles a lot. This is glitter glue and I use it just to dab a bit of interest on, so I bought orange, red, purple, dark blue and pink. And having bought these and knowing that there's a lot of red in my Project Life pictures this week, for instance, here's my daughter in a red top and there's some other red in the pictures. I've gone for red, orange, yellow and craft colour scheme, and I'm going to be using this red stickle and this orange stickles, and so you can see what they're like. So I know I'm going to be using those this week. I also have a bit of ephemera this week. I went to Wagamama's, the Japanese style restaurant, and we very rarely go out to dinner because it's very tricky with the kids to go out because they get very bored waiting for the food. But I grabbed a menu because I like this sort of patenty paper. This is it's very hard to make out on the camera. If I just put that up, if you can just see that there. This is some squiggles that my daughter did, and this is the Wagamama Kids little play mat thing that they were given, and I really like this little guy, so I'm going to cut him out and use him. And so I went to because I knew that it was going to be red, orange and yellow, and I wanted some crafts, so that's a good anchoring colour for that. I went to my scrap basket and picked up all my red, orange, yellow scraps, and the one in particular I wanted to point out was this, which is I think it's a Kaiser company. God, I can't remember what this is, but it's got these really big nice red flowers on, and I knew when I bought this paper pad, because it has a lot of these big florals, that I would be cutting them out to use them as embellishments rather than intending to use this as like a whole page, because these are some really nice embellishments if you cut them out. So I will probably be cutting some of those out to use as embellishments. And I finish it off, I went through my Project Life cards, and so I grabbed a whole bunch of different you can get this orange cards, some yellow cards, some red cards and some craft cards, and this excuse me this is a card from a Japanese card game called Chronicle, and it's got princess written up here in kanji and the Japanese in here, and I kept it because we ended up buying this particular little card game, an English version, and it was much easier because I'm not so incredibly good at Japanese that the Japanese instructions on the card are easy for me to read. And this is perfect for this week because I've got pictures in this week of my daughter Naomi dressed up as a princess. So here's a princess and here's the princess card. And so this is another sort of strange ephemera type element that I would keep, just like bits from board games, because one of my main hobbies is board gaming. And my 2 main hobbies, scrapbooking and board gaming. So what I'm going to do now is I'll put this all to the side for just now. All that there. All these things out to the side. Bring in my board. And then I will grab my photographs and decide where they go. Now this one is a lovely picture of Lizzie. I'll put that one there. And I've done the journaling on that one with before it was printed. So that's got a lot of journaling on there. That was when the kids had been very quiet for a while. We went through to find out what had happened, and they managed to drag a melon off the kitchen counter. And we're well through eating it, which was lovely. It's very cute. Put that on there. This one is going to be part of a 4x6 picture. This is my husband, and these are Japanese steamed dumplings. They're called nikuman, and I made them for Pete for the first time this week. Now this is a photograph that I've printed off much smaller than 6x4, so I'll put it somewhere like this. Now the reason why I printed this off so small is it's actually really not in focus. If I'd blown this picture up to a 6x4, it would be really obvious that it's really blurry and not in focus. But if I print it out at this size, you can't tell, and it's just a nice little picture. So I think I might put that one there. Here's another picture of Naomi in her little princess outfit. Let's put this one here. Here. And here's little Lizzie. So there's red in this picture, red in this picture, red in this picture. There's a lot of red, which is why I chose that. There's this is Pete's brother. You can't really see. This is it's a nice picture because it's of Pete's brother who lives quite far away. So it's nice to have pictures of people who aren't often around. Put this one here, this one here, and this one here. I'll probably end up putting this one here then. And so this is how I've got it set up at the moment. So things that I know I want to include in this week. I'm going to grab the ephemera first off. Now I think I'm going to want to put this as a background piece on here. So I'm going to want to use this pattern paper with this little photograph. I'll probably want to put that there, this here, and then I can put this piece of ephemera next to these pictures of Lizzie drawing. And I'm probably going to use this little guy on the week page. The card that tells you what week it is. Right, so I'm going to push this out of the way and work on this card. So if I grab my corner chomper, which I haven't got, just taking a bit of time there to get the things ready that I should have. I'll chomp the corners off of this card. And then I'll just grab this. I'll just tear it along here. And the rest of this is just rubbish now. And I will cut out the piece I want to use. So just quickly slide this through the trimmer. And it's a nice sort of, I think it's a nice geometric path in this. I really wanted to use it. Just quickly chop the corners off this. And I'll be putting it like this onto an orange background. If I grab my, I think this scrap of orange, it's got a nice not too bold a pattern, so it'll be good for going in the background. This is a scrap of paper that is 12 by 4, I think, and this will be where I've used this pattern paper before, 4 strip, 4 strip, 4 strip, because this is from a really old collection now, Canopy Trails by American Crafts, which I loved, and I've used a lot of it, a lot of it. And so I'll just whiz this through. And snip the edges. There we go. And we put these on there, see how it looks. Now, I think that it could do with an embellishment here, a bit of journaling here, and I think maybe a matte. So maybe a very small matte of red to bring out the red on this one. Yeah, I think I'm going to put red matte. Not a rad matte, a matte, both of these on this red. I hopefully can put like a yellow embellishment here to bring all the colours into this card, and then I can do some journaling in here. So that's what I'm planning to do with this one. So I will matte these up, have a quick look for an embellishment, and I'll be right back. So here are the pieces matted onto a bit of red. I'm going to layer them like this. And then these are the pieces. They're all yellow. A yellow star, a yellow floral circle. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to see if you can see the yellow print there. I'm going to ink the edges so that these all stand out a bit more. Because yellow on yellow on yellow. And I use Distress ink and one of these little Distress ink pads. It's a wooden dauber with the black ink pad on it. So I'm just inking all this up so that I can layer these on top of each other, but they won't just become an indistinct mass of yellow colour in the bottom of the corner. Right, excuse me for my sniffing and coughing. I might have a little bit of a cold, or coming down with one perhaps. Okay, so here we go. So the first thing I want to do is stick this in the corner. So this goes about here, I think. Just check that that's, yep, that's about right. And then I want to stick down this one. Well, I want this one to be at a slight angle. That will be matched by this, so I will place it at a slight angle like that. Here we go. I want this to be at a slightly opposing angle. I might just slot it in straight, and the angle will be created by this one. I want this to run along here. So with this piece of paper, I'm having it parallel to this piece. And then this will start and go here. Like that. Now I don't like how this looks because I think this looks it's at too severe an angle. I'm just going to pick it up, pick this whole thing up. The glue has stayed with it somewhat, and then just put it back down again. I think I might just lay it flat actually. And this one I'm also going to lay flat. so not angles at all. Yeah, that looks much better to me. Now I want this star to be much further across, which means I'll be moving this. And this is how I work. I just try things, and then if it doesn't work out, I'll just peel them off and try again. So I want this star to be in the corner like this, and then this to be tucked underneath and parallel to the this bottom line here. There we go. Done. Now I want to do journaling on this page, so I will grab my journaling pen, and I also want, I grab my stamp sets. Apologies again for coughing. I'm just using the little face icons. If you can't hear, I can show you them better. The background. They're here, the little face icons that come with this set. To put a little face onto this star, just use my tiny little acrylic block that I keep around for this sort of thing. Stick that in its center, and there we go. The star just has a little face there in the corner. Okay. Item. Just do my journaling on here. And this will probably constitute the all of the journaling that covers this meal where we went out. So I'm just going to do some journaling up here later. I'll do that later here. So that's one card finished. Now we can look at this card, and I think that I've got light blue in this picture, so I probably want to put this onto yellow. Or there we go. This is a sort of, it is a sort of yellowy orange, and it has a orange grid pattern on the background. This is a Lawn Fawn Into the Woods one paper. So I will chop this into a 4x6 around the corners. There we go. I can pop this aside. Around the corners on this. And then actually I'll just grab this again to go around the corner. And actually, I think I want to chop these down just a little bit. So with my trimmer, I'm going to take 1/4 of an inch off the bottom and 1/4 of an inch off this side, and same on here, 1/4 of an inch off a side and 1/4 of an inch off the top of this one. Well, these are, sometimes when you print them out, they really do end up quite different sizes because of how the computer prints them. So they should all match, but I think sometimes it chops a bit more edge off one than the other. So there we go, roughly the same size now. I'm just going to chop the corners off. And then I think this is probably the way I want it to be, with this one higher up and this one lower down. Yeah, and I think maybe if I put these over to the left, and then I can put a journaling tab in here, and I think I'll probably just want to have that from white actually. Just a curved journaling piece going in here. Now, I have got somewhere in my collection of stamps, different kinds of stamps. Here we go. I've got this set. It's kind of hard to tell, but there's a little pie stamp that I think will look great. And I'm actually just going to grab, oh, whoops. Stamps flying off everywhere. I'm going to grab this little heart stamp, this tiny little heart stamp, and this pie stamp. I can show you what that looks like if I just grab a piece of paper. There it is. A little happy, and I'm going to put that here, I think, in the picture, or maybe here. Yeah, probably there. But I'm going to stamp it onto, I'm going to stamp this onto white card and then colour it with my gelatos. Give it a nice little watercolour look. And I'm going to cut out a tab. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go do that and then I will come back. So I've matted both of these. Now I'm trying something new, which I haven't tried before, which is I'm matting this one in white, a very small amount just on the edge, and this one in orange, a very small amount just at the edge. I've never tried matting things of different colours before, but I think it works well in this picture. It makes this picture stand more, it brings out the tiny little orange mat on this card, brings out the orange pattern in the background. I made myself just a tab of paper by just cutting out like 3/4 of an inch by 2 or 3 inches and then rounding the corner to the same corner rounder I use on everything else. And then here is the if I just bring up the camera, here's the pie I made. Now I'm no artist by any stretch of the imagination, but when I ink color things in, I make sure that the ones, I tend to do one side, so if you look just at the bottom, it's more red in this corner and slightly darker on this edge of it, and I think that makes it look, if it's a uniform color when I color in, it looks less good than if I just shade one area of it to be darker. And in this instance I chose the darker area to be on this side because I'm placing it on that edge. So if I'd been planning to place this embellishment on this edge, I would have put the darker colour on this edge. Oh, I should quickly stick these other ones down first though. I'm adding quite a bit of glue because the seems quite bendy. Stick that one down straight. Put this embellishment here. There we go. And add quite a bit of glue to this one. Sometimes if the pictures or the mats are quite bendy, I just add a bit more glue, just like that. There we go. Add some glue to this one, and I'm going to make it parallel to the one. And then I decided to have an embellishment in this corner, so I whizzed this die cut through on this colour of paper. And I've grabbed the second biggest colour of heart to go there. Put some glue on there. Down. Now here's where I'm going to use my new stickles for the first time, and I will dot them around this heart. There we go. Lovely. Give it a bit of a tap underneath, and we can call this. So here we are, we finished these 2 cards. This card I like just as it is, but I want to add an arrow onto there. This card I'm happy with how it is, this one. Now I'm going to take this one. This is the card that's got my little one scribbles on, and I cut out a 3x4 mat of the dark red to put this on. So I'm going to do this now. And I also want to add some journaling to that. So if I grab my trimmer, I'm going to be trimming this down to say less than 3. I'm going to cut off that to start with, and then I'm going to cut this down to less than 3 by about 1/4 inch, maybe I'm going to say 16ths of an inch, which is a bit of a strange one, and then do the same here, but just like 6 little segments off, 4 on my trimmer. Round the corners to make it match the mat that it's going to sit on. And then place it in the center. There we go. That's a nice thing. Now, it's not quite fitting exactly. It needs to be just very slightly, just by the tiniest amount slimmer on its width. Because otherwise the mat is much bigger on the vertical than it is on the horizontal, which looks messy to me. There we go, now it's an even mat all the way around. You can just see, if I hold it up maybe, the squiggles that my little one drew. Now I want to get some matte journaling onto this card as well. I'll just glue this. Stick it down, nice and central, and I will grab my journaling tag punch, if I can get it out of where I put it. Still a bit of a hardware issue there. Now I'm thinking about what colour I want this to be, and I think maybe this colour would look nice. Maybe, not too sure. I think white would look not good against the white background. I could do it in this. Yes, I'll do it in this. I'll grab this this piece here, and I'll just chop out a label. I will use my just grab my tiny attacher. Stick this down, and then I'll glue it a bit more with my glue pen, just to make sure that it sticks down. And then I'll be doing a bit of journaling on here. Now this looks a bit plain to me, so I want to put something here, maybe just a little embellishment. Now I'll see what I've got in my box of yellow washi tape and ribbon. See if there's anything that suits. Here's a little bit of tape. And I'm happy just to journal straight onto that washi tape, because I think my journaling pen can handle that. So then it's just adding a tiny little bit of yellow in there, and I might want to add just a little bit more embellishment in that corner. Just a little heart or star or something. So I'll see what I've got in my box of little stickers. No, these are my box of gems. Now I've tended to go away from using gems on my scrapbooking page is in favour of stuff like stickles because it's smaller. A lot of the gems are just too big to go onto the I could put on a date sticker. That was good. Dates. I think maybe that does look quite nice. And I'm totally covering up the staple now. And it's pointless that I had it on there. I just need to make that slightly further across. So the D is definitely on the. I'll now cut this down with my scissors. Get this off. There we go. And I can do some journaling on this little bit of the date here. And I'm going to add some dots of red stickles on this page. Just to try it out. So I think one here, where this all joins together. One here, and one here. And then just with this one, it's very obviously it should be tapped because the glues come out quite pointy. There we go. So I will. There's this one finished. The camera can pick up the stickles there. It's quite glittery and nice. I'll pop that one and see that one's done aside from journaling. Now the next thing I want to do is next to this card I'm going to be having this. Now this needs to be matted onto something, and I'm going to use just a craft mat I've got lying around. There we go. And that might be all I want to do. So yeah, this is a Japanese card game called Chronicle. That's where this card came from. That fits quite nicely into the centre of there. And this craft colour background matches nicely to the thing on the card. I'm going to bring this all in, and we can see where we're at. So I like how that's looking. I think I want to have the title up here and for it to be in red, and some kind of big card down here. Now if I bring out my 4x6 ones, I could just stick that in there. This, because this is a beautiful smile. I want to round the corners on this one. So just snip these, snippy snip. There we go. Now I've added in some red here, and I've got some red around here, so I may want to change it up so that I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this one here, pop this here, stick those there instead. Oh, no, maybe go like that. There we are. And then have the title card here. So I think that looks a bit better, and put a sort of mid-yellow title card here instead, because now we've got quite a lot of red in here. I think it looks quite nice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a mid-yellow. I'm going to cut out the piece of ephemera that I have saved, this little guy here, and because he's super cute, and then I will come back once I've got the card I want to use and the lettering I want to use for that. But this has been a quick week, and once we've done that, we might be just about done. So here I am finishing up the last little things. This is the background I chose, this yellow card. Now I've cut out a label tag to put on this card with it, and this is fine because I know that I'm going to be covering up this with this. So I will do that. Sometimes I'll take a nice mat and I'll just cut the whole center of the mat out because I know that there's a picture going to be going on top. So I'm happy to cut bits out of cards and then just cover them over so that I can use the same paper elsewhere. Now I'm going to be sticking this down very similar to the card with the doodling that my daughter did on. I'm going to be, but this time I'll put the washi tape underneath. Now this is washi tape that says Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but that doesn't matter because I'm going to be covering that over, so it's just going to be a tiny bit. And with this one I'll use the tiny attacher, and I believe that I'm not going to cover this over with a label. So you will see the staple on this one. Stick it down, and this time I will grab a little red heart to finish it up. I'll grab this one. Yep, that looks nice. Looks nice. I'll just take a look at just a tiny bit of gem on there, and I'll add some of these orange stickies because that will really make it match the other card, because that has red ones on. There we go. That's that card done. So we can put that aside. Now this card, as I said, I knew from the beginning that I was going to put this on. So I'm going to edge all these pieces to make them stand out more. I don't ink everything. I just ink when I think it will make the elements stand out more. So put the glue on in here and just put that there. Now I'm going to put this here, this little guy, but to make him stand out more I'm going to just give him a little ink around his edges where I cut him out. It's just a little bit kind of tricky because he's there we go, there's ink. And I'm going to adhere him to this by using foam dots. So I'll stick foam dots on this little guy to stick him down. Just on his ears, in all the corners, and then stick loads of these on here. Then we can just unpeel it. So this is a card title. Gonna be quite fiddly to get these glue off. And this is this orange alphabet up here is the alphabet that I'll be using to do the title week for. And because there's quite a lot of other things on this title card, this 3x4 card and this little dude, it's fine to have a smaller title. I'm happy with that. Just picking off the last, this here, just one left. There we go. And then we stick him down here. There we are, and I'll just turn this over with a bit of a stamp. Now where I've cut this out, there's some sticky, you can hear it. I'll just grab a piece of scrap paper and stick it over the top to stop that being an issue and all the glue sticking. So if there's a hole in a card and glue ends up in that hole, I'll just stick a piece of scrap paper over the top to be able to just trim off the edges of this card. And then I cut this off the little menu thing, and I like how that looks, so I will ink it up and stick it down flat this time give the edges a good inking. And this isn't very strong paper, it's just very thin paper, so I'll use this glue. It's less. Right, and now I'm going to pop all those out the way to go in the bin, and now I will stick down, and I'm going to work backwards actually, so I'll grab the K first. I'll just put it here, planning to put the 4 in the corner underneath. Just line this all up. There we go. Oh, a little further along with that W. Oh, whoops! Got my head in the shot again. Still learning this best way to do this without getting my head in the shot and for the video to look best. Okay, so here is week. Just move that along a bit so it's in line with the K above it. Week 4, and I will grab my. Now, actually, I don't like how that looks. Yeah, I'm going to move this all back. So just quickly unpeel all these. And I'll put the 4 on the same line. I think that might have looked good if it was one of the multiple weeks, like week 34. There would have been a 3 there, and that would have made it look less just like it was all on its own, just hanging there without any, it just, I don't think that looked how I wanted it to, or how I imagined it might. It wasn't long enough. There we go. There we go, that's better. I'll just, oh, whoops. Trying to sort of brusquely just really give that a good old press there to make sure it adheres, especially since I've picked it up and put it back down. There we go. Week 4. And so now there's this big empty gap, and I will fill that full of journaling. But I like how that looks. I really like this little guy, but I like that kind of mascot. So all that's, if I bring this back, so you can see the finished article, that is where I'm going to call this one done, aside from journaling here, a little bit here, and some journaling on this card. But that was a quick week this week. I really like that I've got this ephemera. I'm quite pleased that I got to use this card, and I think it makes my scrapbooks look, or my project life album look slightly quirky, that I've got these Japanese ephemera and things. And so I will leave that there for this week 4 of 2015. That's all for this episode. If you want, you can look at my website, welshbunnies.com, look me up on Facebook or Twitter, or you can check out some of my earlier videos. Thanks.